Hey, I'm Charlie McElvy's head nut at Blind Squirrel Comics and Xion Studios, and I'm here with Kari's Crowdfunding Corner. Come join us.
What's wrong with him?
His girl just broke it off.
It's her father. He doesn't want her dating a zombie.
Why? What are they, demons?
She is predeceased.
An outsider?
Man, you're asking for trouble.
She broke my heart.
You're a zombie. Technically, you don't even have a heart.
After all of the great cinema that we brought to the world, and we still get no respect.
I don't know why he doesn't like me. I'm responsible. A full-time job.
You work at a haunted house in October.
I'm trying to be healthy. She's a vegan, so...
Wait, you're giving up meat?
Oh, come on.
What are you gonna do? Attack a farmer's market to try to impress her?
Now, if he was a vampire, you'd have a much better chance with her death.
Yeah, those pretty bastards.
I didn't think this would be that hard.
Hard. Man, I'm a zombie and I'm black.
Here we go.
I blame the educational system.
I blame the media.
I blame George Romero.
Oh. How could you be so disrespectful?
Coffee?
Zombies don't know much, but they do know good coffee. Deadly Grounds. It's coffee to die for, and zombie approved.
Who's George Romero?
Just have some coffee.
Hey everybody, happy Monday. Welcome to another episode of Kari's Crowdfunding Corner Creator Spotlight. We have with us tonight Charlie McElvy from Xion and Blind Squirrel Comics. And Red Husker is drinking some of his Blind Squirrel whiskey in honor of the man we have here. Oh, and I got my squirrel glass. Aaron's a straight man there. He's like,
It's
I'm
always
responsible.
going to be the iced coffee, just to keep the dream alive.
We'll get you a shirt. I'm sure we can get a comic book one that has DD on it, and that'll help, right? So
Perfect.
DH, designated host. So he can be the one that he's the one who gets us back on when the rest of us swirl off. We're just like talking, and Aaron's like, so the project, that thing that we had you want to talk about, that'd be cool.
I'm the previously on. Previously on this book.
So I want you to tell us a little bit, Charlie, before we get started on the Vagabond comic. What else going on with you? How does Xion and Blind Squirrel and everything work out? I know we have a number of creators in common as far as friendships and things go, and people that we talk to a lot. So how have you, this has been going on for a while, but you want to give us a brief rundown?
The history goes way back to 1997, so we're probably not going to start there, but the short version of a longer story is I wrote a comic back then, and it was fun. It never got off the ground because, well, that's not entirely true. I got approved by Image. Then Eric Larson was the publisher. Eric Stevenson had come in and made us all reapply, and so I was waiting for the response on that, which was fine. But while I was waiting for that to get denied, which thankfully it was denied, my entire art team got swooped up by this little company in Florida called CrossGen Comics that came as fast as they went, or went as fast as they came, however you want to say that. So anyway, that's where it really kind of started. But from there, I did The Watch Guard, which was my first publication ever, and it was fun. It was a good ride. I was 12 or 13 years ago on Kickstarter, so it's been a long time in terms of indie comics anyway. But I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't quite where I wanted to be. So Vito knows. Vito's out there. Shout out, brother. That was just the beginning, right? So through some head smashing sessions on the phone and other things, we kind of started moving in a different direction. And I was actually working on going on American Ninja Warrior. And through one of these conversations it was Vito, I swear it was Vito, Sean Isaacs, this dude up in Canada, and Ray Anthony Height. And I think that was who was all on the call together. And we started smashing around ideas. I told them about this Spider Squirrel thing, which I designed this logo while I was training, because two kids were arguing over what kind of animal I looked like, and I just smashed it together, said it, and I was like, oh my God, from my lips to God's ears, here we go. Made the logo, threw it on my training pants, and then Ray Anthony Height goes, you know, Andrew, that's who it was. Thank you, Vito. You know, that would make a really fun superhero, and it's you. And I go, all right, I'm in. The only caveat is you got to design it. And so, anyway, so Ray and I designed the costume. I did the logo initially. It looked, kind of like this. But then Vito said, why don't you turn it? And I go, oh my God, it's an S. He said, yeah, dummy. And so, so now I got the S for Spider Squirrel, and it's got the webbing behind it and the squirrel tail, which makes the S. And it was just this perfect storm of opportunity. And Spider Squirrel was a huge success. So when I launched that campaign, we had over 400 backers, which is unheard of for indie comics back then, especially. I had over 400 backers. Yeah, we did almost 200% to goal, and it wasn't a trivial goal. And it was a smashing success. So anyway, fast forward to today, when I started doing American Yakuza with Anthony Stokes and Chris Moses, with Taylor Esposito on letters and John Rout on colors. When we started doing this book, I realized, I probably ought to put some kind of a demarcation line between my titles so that kids don't accidentally pick up, Yakuza going, oh, it's from the same guys who do, Spider Squirrel. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's fine, right? And then, or parents, worse if a parent does that. And then all of a sudden you open up and there's a rim shot in the book. You're like, whoa, hey, not exactly what my 5-year-old wanted to see. So I realized I needed to separate the two, kind of do the DC Vertigo thing, but I did it inverted. So rather than Xion Studios being the big top, I switched over so that most of the general books are under Blind Squirrel. So that'd be Spider Squirrel and Trash Panda, God Quest, which Vito's writing, Stray, which is Vito and Shauna Isaac's book, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all going to fall under the Blind Squirrel title. And then did I say rim shot? I meant rim job, but anyway.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah, whatever I said, you guys know. I'll blame the Blantons here. But that was really kind of the formation of how Xion and Blind Squirrel came to be. I mean, they're all me, essentially, at least from a publishing standpoint. But it's great because it gives me opportunity to kind of explore different things, which what brings us to Vagabond today.
All right, and we'll go to the thing in just a second. But with Vagabond, this is an anthology, and I'm really excited to know, how did you put together the Bible for it so that does everybody have like certain rules they have to fall into?
Oh, yeah.
You have a ton of great creators, and I'd just like to hear a little bit more about that before we hop down and show everything off. Because
it's a conscious decision with anthologies. There's so many things that are usually it's theme based,
thematic, right?
It's based on it's thematic based or it's location based. But this is essentially an anthology that's an original story and an origin story of this character. So it's almost like a first issue of a new series, but with a lot of different creators on it, right? So that seems like a really interesting and a different way of looking at an anthology.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you kind of nailed it, right? I wanted it to be a little different. So, like, I love what Travis does, for example, like Cthulhu invades Neverland or Cthulhu invades, whatever, pick your place. And I love that. I think it's cool. But I wanted to kind of set it apart a little bit. And to your point, Aaron, I decided to go character-based specifically rather than either genre-based or whatever. And to me, what that did is give us an opportunity to not only flesh out a character collaboratively, right? So everyone's contributing to this character. In essence, every writer and artist in this book is a co-creator. But it also gave people a chance to explore all kinds of different stories. So, for example, Clay Adams does one that's set in London, and it's a black and white book. It's a really fun art style, and it features Bram Stoker, so he's in there. And then you've got Ron Mars, who worked with Will Conrad, and they did like the Last Buffalo story. Now, Buffalo obviously are still in existence, but this is like they're threatened to be extinct, and so it's kind of a Wild West story. But it's great. It's both quiet and also very loud. It's got a nice soft message, but it's got it's great. I love it. And Will's art was fantastic. Ron and I agreed. We're like, you know what? Just throw some gray tones on it, and we're calling it a day. No color needed. So it was fun. And then Anthony Stokes took it and decided he wanted to deal with like the Tulsa massacre. So he was able to not only take a piece of history, but also focus on like Black history specifically, and some of the tragedy, that has come throughout the history in that. Scott Fogg took us out to 17th century, London, I guess you want to say, or England, and had a nice story about what was going on a fun story. It's one of the most entertaining, like just raw fun comic stories in the book. Just a fun story about pirates and all this piracy that was going on that the Navy had to deal with, the British Navy had to deal with on an almost daily basis. So it just gave us a chance to explore anything and everything. We're in Atlantis, 80,000 BC. We've got a story from a beautiful story about the Battle of Gettysburg. Probably the most touching story to me in the whole thing. My wife and I both actually had like tears in our eyes reading the story. It was just a phenomenal story, beautiful watercolor art from this Italian artist, and it just, Anyway, that to go back to your question, Kari, the Bible came about for me going, okay, I want to do something fun that gives us a chance to explore any genre virtually. You could do sci-fi, you could do mystical, you can do whatever. Travis does a mystical story, by the way, Amityville Horror. So yeah, you really could pick nearly any genre possible, and so that was set. Once I had a character base, and I said, okay, this character's main thing is he's immortal. That's obvious, but he also has some level of enhanced strength and so forth. He remembers most of everything he comes across. Can't kill him. That's the only rule, a major rule. The other one is he can have progeny, but the progeny does not receive his immortality, so that doesn't pass on. So he that way people can have a parental story if they want to. And in fact, I think 3 of the stories have him with a child, which is neat to explore the emotional aspect of it. It's an anthropological study, right? You can go through and talk about from birth to death. You can see the guy getting more apathetic, over time, because you get numb to stuff. You stop caring that people are dying, right? And then maybe you start caring again because somebody or something. So it's a philosophical journey through humanity. It's just such a neat thing. So the Bible was really just me setting some boundaries. So I like to think of boundaries rather than rules. So for example, like training a dog. When you train a dog, usually you have it on a short leash and then you progressively get a longer leash. And eventually they're not on a leash, but they're still boundaried, right? They still know instinctively the limitations of where they can go. I didn't want to leash our creators. So I said, well, let me set some boundaries, like a fence line. So the fence lines are things like you can't kill them, but you can sure fake it. That's fine. Can't have progeny that gets immortal. And he should show up at something that's relatively significant. It could be personally significant. Like maybe he shows up to somebody's funeral and you don't realize whose it is at first, but and then it turns out to be somebody that he saved maybe or something in World War II. I don't know. I'm just making that's not a story in there. I'm just making that one up, but that gives you an opportunity to play with that. So that was the only, and that one's the softest rule of the whole batch. So that was it. I mean, after that, he's Thracian. So he's not a white dude. He's more Middle Eastern, Greek-ish, even though he was born before Thrace was even a country. And there, as far as we know, there's no other immortals, but I didn't say you couldn't have another immortal. His sexuality is fluid. I mean, you would imagine being an immortal, you'll play with whatever, right? At some point, you'll test everything. So yeah, it was just really neat. It was fun for me because it was kind of like lighting a match with some of these creators and just like walking away and going, okay, burn the shit down. Oh, excuse my French, but
you like on here.
You can just say it again and again. You're fine.
Fucking go for it, man. You're allowed.
What's great is, it seems like the way I look at it a lot too, from a creative point of view, is like you're providing a glass that has a shape, and whatever you pour in it is your own, right? Yeah. So here's this, and you could fill it with whatever genre, whatever other characters, or whatever else you want, But it really hits a creative sweet spot, even in my mind. Two pieces of pop culture I always go back to creatively are Back to the Future and Quantum Leap, right? Two of the great, like, two of the greatest pieces of media, like of entertainment, like ever created, to me.
Yeah. Quantum Leap
you
has
know,
a
in
huge
fact-
influence on this. If you've
Yeah.
read the Bible, you know it's in there, right? So, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
so it seems like, it kind of hits those marks of historical fiction in a way, with mixed with action that a lot of people, should be interested in and should be backing it right now as we speak.
Let's go. Yeah, and Vito says it well. Like, I feel I am a showrunner. Like, and if you want to think of the anthology, each story is an episode, and the only thing that's common to the episodes is this character shows up that he may be called Marsyas, he may take any number of names, he may not have a name at all, but it's just really fun to watch the take. It's almost like I don't watch American Horror Story, so I probably don't know, but it's almost like that kind of thing where you can just keep seeing the same person over and over again, but it's different stories, different everything. So I love giving that freedom over, and it's been fun to watch. It's been a really fun ride. Vito, I got his script over the weekend at some point, but I printed it out this morning, so I'm reading it after the show tonight to see what he did. I know he's really proud of it, and I'm excited to see what that is. So we keep having him come in. Mike Choi's working on art for another story right now.
Are all the stories the same length, or are there variations of the duration of the stories? The stories, are they all the same length, or are they variable?
They vary. I gave everyone, I said, I know you can tell a solid story in 4 pages if you're a good enough writer. So I said 4 is your minimum, because maybe you can get less than that, but man, it's really hard to kind of get any emotional impact or anything below that. And then I actually preferred 12 as your max. Most people stayed in the 8 to 10 range, which is a good comfortable range, frankly, for a story. I think we have a 6-pager in there somewhere.
I recently bought an anthology that was all 1-page stories, and
that's fun.
A lot of them are great. Yeah, it's amazing how many people could put together a solid 1-page story.
It's hard, though.
If you aren't in their brain, some of them you're just kind of like, what? I don't understand you don't understand some cultural point in it or something like that. So it's like it makes no sense at all. But it's crazy the talent that is out there. And
I've done a 1-page story, and that was in an anthology, and I have a 2-pager in something that's coming out end of the year, and the 2-pager might be one of my favorite things I've ever written, and it was just happened to be 2 pages. But it's interesting to try to distill everything down, even to 4 pages, even to 6 pages, to get that full story or that moment and capture it. But I think with the character that you're doing for Vagabond, it's like this, like you said, it's a continuing story of that character. So it's less of an anthology and more of a series within one volume,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the stories are near limitless. At some point we're going to start like overlapping in some historical, like we get pretty close in a couple of them. One of the outs that I have as the showrunner, I'll use that title since Vito threw it at me.
It's yours now.
Exactly. One of the outs that I have for myself and for the editorial team and the writers even is I don't ever explain how he gets where he is. So it's not like Quantum Leap where he just pops into somebody's body, or it's not like some other shows where he just like warps somewhere or he walks there or takes. I don't explain it. I don't think it needs to be explained. Let's just tell stories, right? And so it's really fun.
And you can cover all of world history, and as you said, there's some paranormal stuff as well. I'm not making this example to try to downplay anything, but like Ghost Machine has out Redcoat, which is a odd little bit, which
I love Redcoat.
It's cool because it's teaching. I love Ghost Machine, but he has his thing, but he was given his immortality through a ritual. He cannot leave the United States of America. He will die, and there are people out to get him for all this and stuff. Which is it's interesting that you can learn little history lessons and things from it, but it's all trapped in American history. And Redcoat is fun, but I love that you have a character that is all history, and anywhere you want to put him, he can be put. And that's just I'm assuming you're planning on doing more, right?
Yeah, gotta get this first one out first. But yeah, it's the plan is to do more. I already have had some pitches for subsequent stories. I kind of closed the books on this one just because I needed to get it on Kickstarter and get going. And it's already at 130-ish pages now, so it's already a pretty good size volume. But yes, 100%. We want to do more. I love that you picked up on the history thing. I actually did a story during so 1824 to 1825. There was an interesting but very not well known about political scandal that the election that year, because those elections back then ran from basically like September to December, because obviously you got to get votes somehow to people, and there wasn't really big courier stuff going on. There wasn't the post office yet. Well, that's not true because our post office has been here since 1775. But anyway, it still took a while to get votes in, tally them up, et cetera, et cetera. And I forgot who actually won, but Congress goes, yeah, you know what, this guy, we'll give it to this guy, even though he didn't get the popular vote. And so kind of the formation of what eventually would be like an electoral college, kind of a slant. But when that happened, I was like, oh, that coincided with the Marquis de Lafayette. He did his Monroe had invited him over for a war, like a finale, like a last tour. And so the Marquis was in his 60s, and it happened to overlap with this presidential election. So I was like, I got my story, right? And so I jammed together those two events that didn't really have a lot of actual overlap other than timing. And it was fun. It was really fun. Yeah, that's right. There are no modern day vehicles. One of the commentators said. So yeah, everything's horse and buggy, carriage, whatever. Somebody's satchel. So yeah, it was fun. I had a great time in the Marquis and Marsyas Vagabond. They're old friends, clearly. Like they're even he didn't even greet, in my story, he didn't even greet the Marquis by his title. He calls him Gilly. Which if you go Google his full name, you'll know why he's called Gilly. So it was fun. I had a good time with it. And other people did too. Like I said, Chris Moses did an Atlantis story, and he just took that and ran with it. It was kind of at the end of Atlantis's time, and so forth. So yeah, good fun history all over.
Okay, I got a pitch for you right now. All right, just came up with it when you mentioned that. So my pitch is he goes through and hangs out with various members and generations of the hedge that is the Habsburg family back when they were ruling. So you get all of the inbreeding and many skewed chins. I don't know, like just going through.
You can Game of Thrones that all day, couldn't you?
I have this big hatred for the Habsburgs, and I don't know why they shouldn't upset me these days. But it's one of those things that just gets in your craw and like does not leave. But, okay.
He hasn't been to Austria yet, so I mean, who knows?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pull up real quick now that we've been chatting about it. Let's Kickstarter. So
I was just looking at it again just now. Yeah, there's some great rewards on there.
Yeah.
And also, I love your title design. Was that you, Charlie, or your letterer who put that together?
Yeah, I did the logo design. Yeah, that's mine.
It was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is beautiful. So guys, we only have 4 days left to go. We're about a little over 50% funded here. I want this to happen. You'll see that I still have yet to back this project, Charlie. It's because, as the people that are watching know, I spend a ridiculous amount of money on Kickstarters, and nobody's allowed to know how much that I spend on Kickstarters anymore because it's embarrassing. So I will be doing that after the show is over, however, because
it's like if you guess the number of marbles in the jar.
I mean, look how many I've done, over 1,000. Like I back, I even slowed down, and I'm still over 1,000. Like,
yeah, I'm a super backer, but I haven't quite hit your level yet because I need a bigger house or a bigger place to live. It's already bad, but let's go through and check this out a little bit because I love the original cover, and you've got 110 plus page, and you said it's now up to 130.
Yeah, I wasn't going to change that. I'll just leave it there because I figured that'll be kind of an extra bonus for everybody to realize that they've got more than they paid for, really. Mm-hmm. And there is I haven't announced it yet, and I'll do it here first. But the first stretch goal, which is really once we hit goal and stay and close over goal, I will upgrade the book to an oversized hardcover.
Oh,
So it'll be
nice.
bigger than just the standard comic. So get your shelves ready.
And this is your first time doing a hardcover, right? Which is it looks like
is.
it's going to be a beautiful hardcover.
Yeah, I think I can't I personally just can't wait to hold this in my hands.
Yeah.
There's Will Conrad's story. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, I didn't even pick like the best page, but I didn't want to give away any spoilers.
Right.
That was something else that I found interesting, Charlie, is that a lot of anthology, a lot of books go color or black and white. And I love the idea of, especially because it's a historical based sort of story, that you can mix color and black and white in the same volume as part of the storytelling.
Yep.
And not have it take you out or change anything creatively. It's a great aspect of the book, I think.
Thanks. The one question I did get a lot from some of the writing team was, what kind of art style do you want? And I go, what fits your story? Like with anthologies, you pay a flat rate basically. So it's for the finished work. So what, and this, I mean, I love Andrea Kari's Atlantis there from Chris Moses, that was just, it's dynamic. There's so much energy to it. There's also a lot of emotion in it. And it's really good. And then Will's is much more subdued in terms of tonal quality and like theatrics, but it is extremely detailed. Just every frame could be framed, right? I mean, they're just gorgeous work. Like I said, I wanted to boundary the book. I didn't want to limit and leash people. So you'll see a lot of different art styles. You look at Clay. Oh, this one, I mean, Saul did a really fun art style. There's a lot of almost cartoony action and energy to it, right? Which is not
you have different types of expressions there than you do in the other ones.
Yeah,
by the way,
motion, right? Great.
That's the only story that has nudity in it so far. So, which I thought was funny.
All right.
There's Tulsa Massacre. Yeah. And there's my story. There's our little spy who's involved in the political the election scandal. There's the Marquis with him. He and Marcius are interviewing him, or as we will call it, an interview.
Yeah, I like the lighting on that. That's nice too.
Yeah, I'm just gonna not try to butcher comic technique terms. So.
You'll be fine. You're in safe company.
Okay. And this is Travis's, right?
Yeah. So he took the Amityville story and he made it. This is the real story of what happened in Amityville, kind of thing. And I love that.
It wasn't DeFeo.
Yeah, and Brian Wolf did art on that. Oh, there's our Excalibur story. I love that. That was the name of the story.
Yeah, there's you have like a murderer's row of creators and artists on this, Charlie. It's just, just to get a sampling of everybody's work from the indie, from indie comics, people should be interested just in that. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Thank you. I had such a blast. I feel so honored to have these guys and gals on this book. Oh, there's that Gettysburg story, man.
That looks like heart-wrenching already. Have we forgotten what Liberty cost us? Just, ow.
That's the only lettered page that I shared because I was just like, because the words, you nailed it. I mean, like the picture alone said everything, but at the same time, Nandor wrote that. I was like, that script is, wipe the tears out, right? Like, it's just so good.
Yeah, it's so beautifully rendered too. That I love the watercolor or gouache, whichever it is. It's just so beautiful. So here's guys, the link is in the show notes up above or down below, and I added it to the chat, so you guys can go and find it. Here's a link of the so far confirmed stories, but I do know that you have some other creators that are listed further down that are still potentially submitting things. Is that
everybody listed in the in the Kickstarter here is officially on board? Okay. So I didn't list an artist if they weren't committed. Or already working on something, like Mike Choi. Mike had to wait till after San Diego, and he was also still fulfilling his Kuchukong Kickstarter. But Mike's working on his story now from Dino Leto. So yeah, everybody listed is going to be in the book at the end of it all.
okay? And Mike's so awesome. We've talked to him. He has the coolest wall of little like post-it note sized artwork in the world. He's got like hundreds of
I can't
pieces
wait to
from.
see that.
Oh, I'll send you. There's a short thing of it that we did because he took us on a tour of his entire studio and stuff, and or his entire house, basically going like, and this is this wall, and come in here. This is where I have these things. It was really fun.
He's such a great
Um,
dude. I met him at Baltimore 2 years ago and just had a great time hanging out with him.
yeah, he is a sweetheart. I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna go the rewards here, and then I'm gonna come back to show. Well, okay, we'll go through the rewards this way, actually. It doesn't have the prices here, but we can go check those out in a little bit. So one of my favorite things is that you have the digital deluxe PDF, and I love that when people do it because you get, I'm assuming, scripts, behind the scenes, like progress and
Mhm.
everything as it's going. Is that
Yep. Yeah, cover
pretty good?
gallery, scripts, some process work, some finished ink pages, those kinds of things. So we'll throw that in there, and I'll have. I'm likely to put in some additional commentary, although that may go into the actual book itself. So we'll see how that pans out because I've done that in the past. But yeah, yep.
All right, and we'll scroll down a little bit so we can see all the covers, but you can get 3 different trade paperback covers, and this is the hardcover, the
Hmm.
main cover that we showed earlier. You're doing it lettered. It's signed and numbered, not lettered, but there's only 100 available of these, and you're doing it for a really good price too. Like that's one of my big investments is numbered and signed editions. So you're doing this with a book plate? Is it you're both sending it back and it's going on, or
Yeah,
one
well,
person?
I tend to tip in book plates. Some people, I've actually found people don't always want them stuck in the book, so it'll be tipped into the inside of the books, and you can tip it in. You can stick it on yourself if you'd like to. That's typically how I have done book plates in the past, like with the Spider Squirrel Volume 1. So it's still yours. Plus, if some people order multiple copies, which a couple have, then they can, if they get different dust jacket or whatever, they can just throw it in whichever one they want.
Okay. And here we're going to go through and check out the different covers.
You want to talk about your cover artist you got here, Charlie?
Yeah, so this one right here, Sean Damian Hill did this one. It was actually the second cover that we got. But after I got it, I was talking to Anthony Stokes. We were texting about something else. Oh no, I think we were at a con together and we were chatting, and he's like, "Bro, that Sean, that cover needs to be #1." And I was like, "Yeah, it does." So it's
And did he
it's
color
colored.
it too? Because the color on that's insane. Color's
John
great.
Rauch. Yeah, John did that. So John, you might know him from Invincible. He did Invincible amongst a myriad DC and Marvel books over the years. Invincible is probably the one title I think people know him from. John and I have been friends for a long time, and prior to his Invincible days anyway. And he really wanted to color this, so it's fantastic. So this one just blows everyone's minds. It's a beautiful visual. It's such a great. Ironically, there's no World War I stories in here. So anyway, so that's. I don't even think there's a World War II story now that I said that. So I think people avoided the obvious historical stories and went for fun, like something they really wanted to tell. So anyway, this is a great cover. It is absolutely beautiful. The next one is from Nito Diaz and his wife Thaisa, and she colored. I actually have 3 versions of this one. So a store may get like a store exclusive cover or something like that if they decide they want one. But we went with this one. I love the greens and just had such a great tonal quality to the whole thing. Nito, I said, "What do you want?" And I was like, "Well, this guy's immortal, and I like a good whiskey. So I'll tell you what, let's throw whiskey in the hand and put them on like a throne of skulls or something like that. Why not be somewhat expected, but whatever." And Nito threw this at me, and I was like, "Holy crap, dude, this is awesome!" So this is the
Carrie,
first
that
cover.
cover's going to be your jam with the skulls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got the whiskey, we got the skulls, we got everything going on here. He looks so casually just elite,
Yep.
just sprawled elegantly. I think is
These skulls, what skulls approach?
yeah, I love that. And
Oh,
this
Craven's
one,
Last Hunt. Yeah. So Matthew Clark. So Matthew and I've been wanting to work with Matthew for a while, but I was waiting for the right project. Like I didn't want to put him on a spider squirrel. Not that he wouldn't do a bang up job. It just wasn't what it wasn't what I was going for. So anyway, I said, Matthew and I talked at Baltimore. We talked to Baltimore, and then I said, let's do it. And so he sent me back 4 sketches, and I was like, son of a, because I couldn't decide which ones I wanted. But I was like, I asked my wife, and she said, well, this one or this one. It was A or D. And A was more of a Rocketeer kind of a propaganda style, very Dave Stevens, era kind of a thing. And I liked it. It was cool. But I was, okay, if it's between these two, then it's going to be this one. And so I did the Zek homage there, the Mike Zek homage. Matthew did this traditional, so it's not digital at all, including, and I don't know if you can zoom in your screen, but if you were able to zoom in, you'd see this herringbone pattern on the jacket, which adds this beautiful quality to it. Had I not got it in color, it still would look awesome. The herringbone is
a very emotive cover.
Yeah. It's actual zipatone. So he hand cut it and applied it, and I was like, God, dude, you're amazing. Awesome. And he didn't just, if you look at it, he didn't just slap it on. He followed the creases like you're supposed to. I mean, he did it the way it should be done, and it is just an amazing. It turned out amazing. So,
that is beautiful, and that is so attention to detail. It's ridiculous. Oh, I need to scroll this back.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. So yeah, Matthew did a great job, and I actually need to buy the original art for that now that I think about it. But next payday.
Just scroll down again. Okay. So, as we said before, you can get these for the hardcover and softcover, totally on Final Book. And then we're going to go to the back catalog. And so, Spider Squirrel and Trash Panda.
Yep.
Make sure I'm looking right. Flip back and forth. You can also get American Yakuza and God Quest, which came out of Spider Squirrel.
Yeah.
Rook, Return to Sender. Team 5 Force. Is
Team
it?
Force 5. Yep.
Team Force 5. Okay, I'm sorry. Golden Guard, and then you list a couple of extra people, I think, here maybe, or because I see Dean's on the list, but he wasn't actually in the comic so far.
No, Dean.
There's a couple.
Dean wants to be. Yeah, he absolutely wants to do a story. He already has a story in mind. He already fed me the pitch. I believe it's going to be. It's 6 to 8 pages. We'll just say I can't remember exactly which, but yeah, Dean's in there. Dean will be in there when this book gets published. So yeah.
Right. And I'm going to take people over so they can see about what they will be spending. So you can get the hardcover, which is what we're looking for here because awesome. 19 backers so far, so that means that there are 81 of them left for us for the limited release. Or is that the same? No, that's the book plate edition.
Correct.
Different. Okay, sorry, I lied. All right.
No, you're good.
So you get that for the $55.
Now,
which again is insane.
If that's not your favorite cover, for example, Kari, if you wanted to get the Skull Throne, the Nitho Diaz cover, you can in the add-ons add the dust jacket. So you're still going to get that one, but you can swap the dust jackets out, so you can have what version you want.
That's pretty cool.
Okay,
so that's a great bonus to be able to do that. It's like a double cover.
Yeah.
PDFs of everything that we looked at. Squirrel Requiem, which I have right over there. I don't need the digital. I own it. So.
Thank you. And Vito, thanks you too.
Oh, yes. I told Vito as soon as I got it. I'm like, I got it. So here are the dust jackets for like $7. You can get the dust jackets to add on. Upgrade to Digital Deluxe I'm assuming that's only that one in particular is only if you bought the digital.
That one, no. So when you get the hardcover, when you get the hardcover, you're only getting the standard PDF. So this will be the add-on to make that the Digital Deluxe. So if you want all the back matter, as it were, in the digital format, you would add on that here or in the traditional digital. Correct. So The price is the same. So if you just want the digital deluxe, then just go buy the digital deluxe and not worry about it. But yeah, that's so people who buy any other non-digital deluxe, whether it's physical or digital, that'll upgrade you.
Okay, so any physical copy automatically comes with the digital copy?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That wasn't listed, so I always like to make sure. And here you can get the additional information as well as some other comics and the hardcovers. So, like I said, you have amazing prices for these.
It's a lot of book. You're getting a lot of book for the price point, especially because they're getting more book than they even anticipated from the Kickstarter explanation.
Yeah, it's for me. I mean, obviously, there's a business side of it all, but for me, I try to strive to have an unexpected gift, as it were, whether it's more pages, whether it's more back matter that you didn't know what you're getting, or cover galleries, or whatever.
You're jumping out of a big cake.
Yeah, I mean, I will jump out of a big cake if you back at the right level, but I should put that version on there. Yeah, as a fan and as a community-oriented person, I'm thankful that I get to make indie comics. So that's just kind of my, I don't know, it's kind of like my hug back, so to speak.
Yeah, as a creator, it's like if you're excited about it, and someone else will be excited about it, right? So,
yeah.
It's always fun to throw in all the special things for people. I'm a script addict, so anything I get, I'm automatically upgrading so that I can get scripts to read. Because I don't know why, I just have to have them. Oh, hold on, let me pull you up in your little square.
Oh, look, it's Vito's script.
Ooh, Vito.
And then the next 15 minutes will be story time. We'll do.
I haven't even read it yet, and our associate editor hasn't read it yet either. But when I give it back to the editor in chief, he'll probably just put it back the way it was because it's his book.
Now, did you pair everybody, or did they choose was it people who were like, okay, this artist's gonna work with me, and they go on together and hop at it for you, or?
Nope, I let everyone pick their own teammates. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, I didn't want to dictate at a really, I don't want to micromanage people. I just want them to have fun, create a fun story, and work with who they want to work with, right? And if it fit in the budget, then that they were provided and we agreed upon, then that's what happened, right? So I know, like for Ron, for example, like I kind of went over my budget a little bit to get Will Conrad, but Ron said, I'll take care of some of that too. I want to work with Will, and I never had a chance to. So it might take a little bit more whiskey for me to do that, Vito.
That's it, and a smoking jacket.
Look at you.
I do have a lovely fire, though. So. Good evening. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
But no, they picked their own collaborators. So in some cases, some came back to me and said, "Hey, do you have someone you would recommend?" I'm striking out on a couple of guys that I wanted to work with, a couple of gals that I thought would be great. And so I would throw someone their way because I love to feed the artists that I work with. So I typically dig from my own pool and go, "Oh, I haven't used this person in a while. I haven't worked with them in a while, so I haven't gotten their art in my books. So I'd love to feed them and their families, and oh, by the way, get some cool art." So it's good. I love collaboration, and I really, really love my art teams. So I've been touched. There's only been a couple of folks that I'll never work with again, and one of them Vito worked with also. That's all I'll ever say. But there's a few, but that's such a minority. Everyone that I've ever worked with has been, for the most part, just outstanding people. And so anytime I get a chance to get somebody a gig, I'm going to throw them, to someone and say, "Hey, work together." Even if it's not on my book. Yeah. Like Dave Sharp, who's lettering the whole thing.
Yeah, I was going to just jump in on that. So let's talk about lettering for a minute, because it's kind of like, it's so important. And what I really like I like anthologies that have one letterer throughout the entire anthology. And that's
Yes.
something that you chose to do. And it's not common. It's usually part of the team. It's usually, oh, it's part of that team that they do it.
Yep.
So tell me your thought process on that. And, you know, Dave's great. And he's going to probably change lettering per story with what the story needs, but still keep it consistent, right?
Yeah, that was so. I'm a lettering snob. I am such a bitch when it comes to lettering, and when a book is poorly lettered, I vomit everywhere. It's just like it's the most heinous, like Linda Blair kind of. I mean, it's just crazy. I wanted to work with Dave because I've been reading Fisticuffs from Staniak and Dave Schwartz and Fred Schwartz. Good grief. And sorry, Dave Schwartz, another friend.
Who are also in this book. Shout out to Fred and
They
Steph.
are. Yeah, that whole art team is back together again, reunited, and it feels so good. They're doing a really, really dope story that it was one of the early stories that came in too. And I was like, God, this is so cool. So yeah, they did a story together, and I wanted to work with Dave, and Fred hooked me up and made the connection. And yeah, but because of the snobbery in my nature, I really wanted it to feel consistent. Even sometimes with poor lettering, even one story doesn't feel consistent. You know, I've seen tails overlap, tails crisscross, tails don't overlap, tails don't crisscross, whatever. And I've seen all kinds of nonsense. And I was like, one, it's got to be a pro. And two, it has to be the same person. Because reading a comic is still reading a book. And if the words are, if they use a poor font or they letter it in such a strange way that it just doesn't fit the flow of the rest of the book, it takes you out of the book. Even if it's different stories, which theoretically you should just be jumping from story to story, it still needs to feel consistent, in my opinion. And so that's a big thing.
It needs to have that flow throughout the whole thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, Dave is also on tap to do my next anthology, Ballistic, which we probably won't do anything until probably Thanksgiving-ish for Kickstarters on that one, depending on how many pages we have done. I do like to have the books mostly done, even though it's an anthology and they usually take longer and people wait until it's funded and then they start getting the art. Xion, rather, you know, Xion used some of our existing bank and then a couple of the recent Kickstarters to help kind of fund this along as we went. So most of this book is already done. Mike Choi, which I mentioned 3 times now, his art is in process. Dean is not, and that hasn't started yet, and I haven't told him to start. And then Vito, like I said, I just got his script today, so his art will come. And there may be only 1 or 2 other stories that aren't done yet out of the dozen or so that are in here. Most of, every other story is completely done, all the way through coloring. And then Dave has lettered about half of the completed story so far.
Great. That's awesome.
So it's ready to go. I mean, as far as books can go. At this point, I could
and the fact that most people are going to learn their history from your book now. You know, no one reads. It's like people that get news from the Daily Show. It's like no one really reads those textbooks anymore.
So now I am the comic book John Stewart, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. So there's a lot of pressure on you there.
I'm with you on
fortunately for creatives, history repeats itself. Unfortunately for the world.
What were you saying, Kari?
Oh, I was just saying I'm absolutely with you on lettering. I always consider the letterer to be the bass player of the comic. Like they keep the rhythm and they flow. And occasionally they have their own solo, you know, where there's just this awesome page that has the lettering done. Rob Lee is my particular Les Claypool as far as it goes, but that's not saying that there aren't other amazing letterers as well.
Oh yeah,
you know, we've mentioned quite a few of them, and I'm not familiar with all of them out there, but Taylor Esposito seems to be like one of the kings of lettering these days as well. So
he did
he's really prolific.
Yeah, he did the whole volume 1 of American Yakuza. So yeah, Taylor's a great guy to work with. He's actually surprisingly easy to work with, as long as you're not a dick, right? 1, don't be a dick. 2, get your shit straight. I think that's the other thing that I see a lot is like Taylor. I never want to go back and go, oh, hey, you know what? Let's rewrite these whole pages because this doesn't look the way I wanted it to, right? You just don't do that. You should, for the most part, it's incumbent upon the writers to have and editors to have a finished script to the letterer. The letterer should not be entirely. They shouldn't be editing at all, because it's dangerous to assume that a typo is a typo, because it could be something that they don't know that's a word in your world.
Or it could be vernacular, or it could be anything. Yeah.
Right. Or maybe you're trying to get like like an accent, like they do with Rogue, right? So sugar, like if the letterer for that went back and changed sugar to sugar every single time, would the book have the same impact? Would you know she's from like the South? And so it's not the letterer's responsibility to fix your typos. Like, get your shit together first, then you hand them. So I think that's why I have a good time working with Taylor, because by the time Taylor gets our scripts, they're done. They've been edited at least twice, right? So my wife is the associate editor, and Vito over here is the EIC, and it's been through those two folks before it even gets out the door to get lettered. And only when I see like minor changes. Oh, hey, you know what? We should probably put a sound effect here. Didn't think about that. That's on me. My bad. I think I've only had to do that to Taylor like once or twice, and that's again not his fault. That's my fault. So he's great to work with. So Taylor Esposito, Dave Sharp, Vito, Full Court Press, all letters that I work with on the regular. HDE has done all of the Spider Squirrel books over the time. Oh, yeah, that's great. Oh, I did not realize I brought you two together in that way, Vito. So you've met.
You go back to the reunited sing along again.
We can do that again.
Yeah, it's a reprise.
Probably a bad idea.
Please.
Yeah, people are going to start backing my Kickstarter just to shut me up.
You know what? One of the rewards should be I will stop singing for this reward.
So I add a little add-on that's like I will sing a verse of like your favorite song, and you can just like have like that's my ringtone now or something,
God, people do not. I don't know that the world is that masochistic. I'm not sure. Let's see. Hear me sing. Good Lord. Yeah.
So we only got a few days left on this, right? So you want to get on it? Let's get on it now. Is what we're saying.
Yeah, please do. This is a book that, and I mentioned backstage. Is there a plan B? Sure. Every Kickstarter I've ever done in my entire life, there's a plan B, but should never have to use plan B, right? So let's get out there. Let's fund this book. Let's the karaoke award that might make the next Kickstarter. Who knows? But yeah, let's get this thing funded.
People in a hot tub. So I mean, what if you guys?
All right, I'm pitching it now. If we all do Kickstarters at the same time, we all have a creator karaoke as a reward, and everyone's involved in some capacity.
Are we going to Zoom this? Is that how that works? Yeah.
It's got to be zoomed across, and then for extra, for a little bit on top, they pick the song. Yeah.
But you do it as a Zoom call, as a giant recorded thing, and then that's for all the people who supported it, and then like a month later, those who didn't get to see what happened with the.
Yeah, it could be a Vito Presents.
It's funny. I did do a one time. I did a stream for a Kickstarter stretch goal. It was a stretch goal, not a reward. I ate pineapple pizza on a live stream. So, which those who know me, I mean, look, let's be honest. There's nothing wrong with pineapple and pizza per se. No. I don't like it because I just don't like the textures. Those two textures just do not vibe for me at all. But fun fact, my Benny's, which is the local pizza chain here or pizza store here, is also run by Riley Brown's brother. So Benny's did not ever offer, my local Benny's never offered Hawaiian pizza or pineapple and pizza. So they had to source it just for the live stream. So I thought that was pretty funny. But I had about 30 people back even $1 just to make sure we went over the clips to have me live stream. I mean, people were, and then they were sharing going, oh, we got to watch Charlie eat this thing, So it was actually probably the most clever PR thing I've ever done. And it worked like a charm. So
that's awesome. So Dean's here to say that you rejected it. So you rejected Dean. Dean, hi.
That
Dean.
is never comfortable. I'm just going to tell you, forget the fact that it's Dean, right? But like to tell somebody you love, like, yeah, no, it was agonizing. But yeah, I love Dean, and I'm looking forward to. Yeah, and so Dean. Speaking of Dean, so I mentioned the other anthology. So Dean is also got an idea for that anthology that I love, and I think it's gonna be really good. It plays great with the Bible that we've created. The world is built here. So when you guys see Ballistic Adrenaline hit Kickstarter, buckle up. And those of you who are backing Vagabond now, I'll notify you early so you can get in before the getting's good and grab some cool shit. So,
All right, Dean, what did you do? Send me a message. I want to know. I'm very interested.
Nice.
I'll tell you
this-
let's go.
Are you aware of this?
I am now.
Okay.
My first publication was an RPG supplement, right?
I know that you've done a ton of books, so I should actually be consulting you on this because Dean and Vito were talking about doing a battle royale in an RPG style with the characters of the universes, and you happen to be part of it, by the way. So welcome to the club. I'm helping I've been a DM for like 30 years, something like that. So I'm helping get all of the characters into a thing so that you guys can all battle it out with your folks. So if you
that's fun.
would like to be more involved with that, hey everybody, guess what we're doing?
Well, and Vito nailed it right there. So I didn't realize it was my idea. Yeah. Oh gosh, I forgot all about that. Yeah. I mean,
well, yeah.
My just fun fact. So one of the things that I think indies fail, and I failed on this one, marketing better before it launched, was one of the things that I think most of us fail at is finding a creative way to market. Right? Everybody thinks it's just Facebook post or Twitter post or whatever the hell post, blue sky, green sky, orange sky, whatever the hell sky. For when I did WatchGuard, my first comic, that actually was preceded by having all my character art and deciding to make it all into a role-playing game. So I got stats from Mutants and Masterminds and made them a part of the Mutants and Masterminds 3rd edition. I started with 2nd edition and it went into 3rd edition. 4th edition is actually coming soon. It was actually on Kickstarter. But so I put all the characters into like this, almost like a character, like a Marvel universe, like a official handbook of the Marvel Universe style publication. All the characters in there, they had their profile, and then the other page opposite them was their stats, their game stats, so you can game with them and stuff like that. So I went out and I did that just to market, because I said, who's going to buy this book? I mean, nobody knows who the hell WatchGuard is. Nobody knows who I am. And so I used it as a marketing vehicle. So I self-published this gaming supplement, licensed and everything through Green Ronin, and started selling them. And everybody at Green Ronin loved it. And apparently it hit really well in the gaming, the RPG world, the superhero RPG world. And I had guys from the supers go, hey, we want to convert that to supers. And so it was really fun. And I got nominated for 2 awards, winning 1, which I was like, I literally was just trying to promote my comic book. Like, that's all I did that for. So be creative, guys.
That
was fascinating. Sorry, we're talking over each other, but I'd read that about you, and that was a fascinating way to make your audiences through gaming before you turn it into a comic. But
yep.
I'm going to talk with you after the show a little bit about what I've been working on with this, because I've like pages of stuff to
DM me.
People.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So was there anything else that you wanted to throw out about Vagabond right now, or anything else that you have coming up in your future? Are you going to some? You said you were skipping Baltimore Con. Do you have any other cons coming up right now?
No, probably we'll do Hampton Comic Con. It's also a local show for me, and I love the showrunner, Mike Federale. So probably going to do Hampton this year. I think that's my last show of the year. I am lamenting the miss of Baltimore because that's family. I'm going to miss Vito, Dean, Chaikin, the Simonsons. I mean, I adore just all those people. And everyone else who shows up at Baltimore. Ron Mars, Knuckles, Ron there, and Ron's become a pal. So I'm bummed about that, but it's a good reason. I am taking my wife on our 30th wedding anniversary road trip. So we're going to spend 10 days driving halfway across the country and halfway and all the way back. So it's going to be a good fun trip. I'm looking forward to it. I am going to miss, like as Chicken said, priorities be damned. And he's right. But I do. I'm looking forward to this.
We never doubt anything that Howard says. If he says it, it is right.
Priorities be priorities, Charlie. You got him straight, buddy.
Oh no, no doubt at all, and he knows that he agrees. He loves my wife. So we'll be out of Baltimore this year. So yeah, look for me at Hampton possibly. They'll announce officially when they start announcing that show, which I think is in November this year. Could be wrong. I have to go back and look. But
where do you like to have people reach out to you on social media?
Usually pretty easy to find. You can just go, if you can spell my name, put a little @ sign in front of it, and then you will have most of my social media with the exception of Instagram. Instagram, you have to put the little stupid dot, the period between my first and last name, just because Meta sucks and they screwed that up. So otherwise, yeah, and please go to vagabondcomic.com, back to Kickstarter, and let me know what you're looking for.
Oh, Dean loves you. I need to get to that sometime. It's hard living in Nebraska, getting to the good cons.
I've been out at that airport. I know exactly what you have. Two terminals. You have the hangar bar, and that's all you have in the entire place. And there's usually an Omaha Steaks lady sitting somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's still the same. It's actually nicer to fly out of Grand Island, but it's true. So
Aaron, they hadn't changed that carpet at the Nebraska, which is actually in Idaho, I think. They haven't changed that carpet since before I was born.
Well, I'm in Portland, and the carpet at the airport there was like legendary. And then they changed the carpet at the Portland airport, and it was like an up in arms thing. And then everyone was selling Portland airport carpet style socks and shirts, and I mean, it was a whole thing. I mean, who put that much emphasis on airport carpet? I don't know.
I got stranded my first year going to Terrificon in Detroit, and Delta, fuck you, Delta. They wouldn't
Not a
refund.
sponsor.
Yeah, not a sponsor. Wouldn't have them. They left us there, and they were like, "Well, we can get you out like the next flight tomorrow. We can fly you down to Georgia, and then fly you up to Connecticut." And I'm like, "I'm supposed to be there in a few hours. Like, this is not good." I had friends that picked me up and drove me. They went from Dayton, Ohio to Detroit and drove me all the way to Connecticut. But the point is that while I was stuck in the Delta airport, I had to go get my stuff and leave. There is actually more tags when you go to sign in where you are on Facebook for that creepy tunnel underneath the Detroit airport than there is for the Detroit airport. And I had to walk through it, and it had been flooded. And so everything was screwed up. It was nasty looking. And they were playing the elevator music, but it was like if they took it from horror soundtracks. So I'm seriously, and there's it's just I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna die in Detroit because that's what you do when you're in Detroit.
I mean, I'm going to Detroit in 3 weeks for work, so I know.
Well, make sure you check out the creepy tunnel because it
You're gonna make me sing like Avatar now. You guys Avatar, that Last Airbender, secret tunnel. No, you got a creepy tunnel. So creepy tunnel. Anyway.
All right. Well,
Kari,
Aaron, do you have anything? You're welcome. I want to let Aaron. Do you have anything else coming up? I'm going to let people know what we have coming on this week. This is a very
great.
good week.
Yeah. No, go back. Vagabond sounds fantastic. And I'm excited that you were able to join us, Charlie. We got 4 days left to hit that up. And for me, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Blue Sky at the A Cohen. You can find me on Instagram at Aaron Cohen Writes, because all my names are different because I got on all of them at different times in my life, and I'm non-apologetic.
If you want to reach me, Kari Sanders, at Facebook. If you see a judgmental looking crow, that's my avatar. That's me. I'm totally staring through your soul. I have all the other socials, but I don't use them at all. I just follow other people with them. So if you want to find me, do Facebook. You can see my author page. But this week is like a super busy week for me. Tomorrow night on Splash Pages, we're welcoming back Garrett Gunn, and we're going to be talking about one of his Kickstarter things right now. On Wednesday, we have Chris Irving coming to join Aaron and I for his Kickstarter for Joe Unknown. And on Thursday, we have Wendy and Richard Peeney coming because Wendy is doing a Kickstarter right now for a futuristic approach to Poe's Mask of the Red Death. So we have a super busy week right now. So yeah, come and check us out for all of those things. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Much love, everybody, and good night.
Night, everyone.